Hi friends, thanks for joining me. I was contacted by my friend Catherine, and she is Created by Catherine, and she asked if I wanted to do a 3-prompt December daily project where she would give me 3 words and then I would create a December daily spread. And so I said, well, I cannot do like every day of the month or anything like that, but I can certainly participate, maybe not in the same way that many people would, but I would love to join in since I've never done a December daily or anything like that. There are also some other contributors to this project, and it was Tanya with Tattered Treasure and Carol with Oak House. All right, let's get started. I was pretty excited about doing this project because I haven't done December daily, and I'm not doing this in the traditional sense of a December daily, but I still was excited at the idea of being given prompts and then working with them. So when something like that happens that I'm not really the initial starter of something, it causes my brain to, fire up and just have lots of wonderful creative thoughts. So I decided, if you hear a little noise, it's my daughter grinding coffee in the background, so just ignore that. So I decided that I kind of wanted to go with a monochromatic theme, but not totally. So I've started with a piece of gray cardstock for my base. Actually, I guess I should let you know what my prompts were that I was given. So my prompts are silver bells, reindeer, and snow. I dug through my materials and I found some greeting cards, Christmas greeting cards, and I found this one. It's really so beautiful. It's in the evening time and the sky is dark, but there's, like twinkle lights and there's a sleigh, and it's just a really pretty scene. So I have cut that and I'm using that for the 2 pockets that I'm going to create. And then for the snow prompt, I'm going to use some of this white paper that has these beautiful silver snowflakes in it. And I just tore that, I just wanted it to have kind of a little bit of a more natural look as opposed to cutting it and having the straight hard lines. So I'm tearing it, and I'm going to add some of that to each side of this spread. And that will cover the prompt of snow. I'm using my Aleene's Tacky Glue. You guys know usually for my adhesive, that is what I most frequently use unless I'm working with fabric. You might notice that I flipped the paper over to use my scissors to kind of press really hard. I like to do that to spread the glue around, but I flipped it over because the snowflakes on the white paper, they actually are they stick up and they're really rough. So it was just smoother for me to put the pressure on the opposite side. Now it's time for me to create the tags or tucks for the pockets, and I'm going to be using the other half of that beautiful card that I cut in half. So I'm just going to cut it to size and then I will embellish it. So in order to fulfill the prompt of reindeer, fortunately I had ordered the reindeer die cuts from BB Craft. I'll have those linked below if you're interested in them. Also with some discounts, by the way. I always forget to mention that in every video I always put discounts for BB Craft. So at any rate, I used the die set, and then I also used the envelope from this card, and that way everything matches. So I put the envelope. Now I will say this, the envelope was really thin paper, and it was much more difficult to pull it out of the die, and I ended up tearing the antlers on 2 of them, but then I stamped the die out again, the reindeers again, so I have 2 for each, and I did it in the darker blue, which was on the other side of the envelope, and then that way I felt like I could layer them and have this shadowing effect. So I'm not upset that the antler got stuck in there, but I just wanted to let you know, if you're using dies, don't go with super thin paper. And this paper was really thin. So anyway, but I layered it and it ended up working out for me, but I just wanted to mention that to you. You can see here that I am gluing them onto the card, and like I mentioned before, I'm layering them. So I have the dark blue one down first, and then I'm putting the light blue down over top of that. I think that little shadow effect looks pretty neat. So I want to add some more to this card, and I am using a piece of what looks like garland. It's part of a scrapbook pack, but it looks like garland. So one edge is cut so that it's nice and straight, and then the other one I tore. That way it has a little bit more of an organic feeling to it. I want to add a little something to the bottom, so I'm just, looking at these, trying to figure out what I think would look best there. I've decided to go with the finer garland look here, and you can see that I am tearing it, and I'm trying to get as close to the green part as I possibly can. The back of the card actually has like the manufacturer name on it and whatnot, so I'm going to go ahead and cover that with some of my coffee gold paper. Actually, I just had made a fresh batch for Dale McBay, who won my 700 subscriber giveaway, and that's what she said she wanted. So I made some fresh, and so I'm going to go ahead and cover the back of this card with it, and I'm tearing the edges. Again, it just kind of gives a little bit more of a textural look and even feel to it, and then I will adhere that to the back of the card, and that way there's some writing space. Now I feel like this card is not done. I really want to add some more to it, just to fill it in. I just feel like the deer are just kind of standing there. So I'm just going to add a few more things. This that I'm holding here is a picture from the envelope that I used to create the deer. So like there's this little church there and surrounded by trees and snow and all that good stuff. So I thought it was so pretty, and I thought I wanted to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and cover part of this one deer with it, and that'll just add a little color to this side of the card. So you can see that I added that little illustration, but part of it's hanging over, so I just trimmed what was hanging over off. Now on the one edge, it's kind of plain over there, so I'm just going to rub the card straight on my ink here, and that'll just give it a little bit of color. I'm going to rub it in just to soften it up a little bit. And now I'd like to add a little something to the other side of the card. So I'm going to add this really pretty shiny piece that Annie with Annie Creates sent to me. And it's not really in the shape of a snowflake, but it reminds me of a snowflake. So I'm going to use that in the upper corner. I have fulfilled 2 of my prompts so far. We did snow and we did reindeer. So now I am going to create a tuck for the other pocket, and we need to get our silver bells involved here. I have some of that coffee gold paper that I used to cover the back of that card, so I think I'll use some of the rest of that to have as a tuck. So you saw there I just tore the bottom and the top edge, and lucky for me I actually found this stencil and it's got a bell on it. I didn't have any stickers or dies or die cuts or anything like that with bells. So I was like looking around my house like, do I have anything? And I was like, oh my gosh, so long ago when I used to scrapbook, I bought some dies. I bought some stencils, and I thought, well, let me check there because I knew I had like a Christmas one. So anyway, I found it, and I feel like I got so lucky. So I went ahead and stenciled the bells onto this page. And the first one, I used some paint with my finger and just experimented with that a little bit. And I was like, you know, the paint's a little bit too, not thick enough for the paper, but it was silver, so, you know, that's why I used it. But then I remembered I actually have some silver permanent markers, and I thought, well, let me go ahead and give those a try. And as you can see, those come out really nice. So I'm going to color those in, and I'm using silver obviously, but I will also use some gold to do that. Now that I have fulfilled my prompt for silver bells, I need to decide how else I want to embellish the front of this, you know, this little paper tuck that I have going on here. So I'm looking at some scrapbook paper that I have, and I have chosen one that I like, and so I'm tearing it. And then once I'm done tearing it into the shape and size that I want, I'm going to use my silver marker, and I'm going to choose blue because the pockets have some blue and gray in them. So I'm choosing blue, and I'm just going right around the edges that I tore, and it just, you know, it gives it some color and gives it some dimension. So that is my spread for a December daily, which might actually end up being a December daily for next year. Actually, you know what? That's probably what I'll do, is I'll save these pages for next year, and then, you know, I'll have it, you know how people kind of make their base first and then they do their writing in it. So maybe that's what we'll do with this. Anyway, I'm so glad you joined me. I hope you enjoyed watching how I made this. Oh yeah, and then this gold bow was from Paper Kitty 99. She just sent me that. She sent me a bunch of goodies, and this was one of the things. And I just thought it looked nice in here. So thanks for watching. See you soon.